a car that exceeds your actual need, these are culturally constructed. The practice of the third day is a fast from desire. Choose one day not to give in to any impulse for unnecessary consumption. Don't buy the gourmet coffee. Don't buy the item online that you didn't even remember you wanted until you saw the ad. In doing this, you are not depriving yourself. Coffee. You are freeing. Don't buy the item online. You are discovering that the feeling of lack is not a truth, but a habit. In doing this, when you realize you can be happy with what you already have, the item online. You are discovering that the feeling of lack is not a truth. You begin to appreciate the wealth already present. When you realize you can be happy with what you already have, the item online. You are discovering that the feeling of lack is not a truth. This practice reverses the logic of scarcity and establishes the logic of sufficiency. You become more generous, less competitive, and paradoxically, more open to genuine achievements, because now you seek from wholeness, not to fill a non-existent void. On the fourth day, philosophy takes us to more challenging territory, but perhaps the most liberating, the awareness of finitude. We avoid talking about death as if it were a taboo, something to be left for later. Yet philosophers have always argued that meditating on death is not a morbid act, but an act of supreme lucidity. Seneca said, "You fear death as if it were the end, but it is the limit. Once you cross it, there is nothing more to fear." Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, reminded himself daily, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." On the fourth day, the exercise is memento mori. Remember that you die. Not to cause depression, but to inject urgency and meaning. If today were your last day, would you spend hours worrying about what the neighbor thinks? Would you hold on to resentment over a silly argument? Would you postpone an apology, a sincere hug, the start of that project that truly matters? By bringing finitude into consciousness, you cut away the superfluous. You realize there is no time to waste on what doesn't matter. This practice sharpens your ability to prioritize. You start saying no more easily to what drains your energy, and yes more courageously to what nourishes your soul. Philosophy here acts as a filter. Only the essential remains. You begin to treat your time as the most precious resource it is, because indeed it is. By accepting the transience of everything, each moment gains a weight and beauty previously unnoticed. You become more present, more grateful, more courageous. Minor irritations lose their strength in the face of the immensity of being alive. On the fifth day, after this immersion in finitude and focus, we will address a theme that touches us all: judgment. Most of our psychological suffering does not come from events themselves, but from the layer of interpretation we place on them. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic masters, synthesized this perfectly. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. Someone looked at you strangely at work. What causes your distress? Not the look itself, which is merely a muscular movement, but the judgment you made. He despises me? I'm going to be fired? I'm not good enough. On the fifth day, we will practice the suspension of judgment.
Imagine for a moment that you are not living the life you desire, but rather a rehearsed version of it. You wake up, grab your phone, scroll through the feed, have a rushed coffee, face the traffic or the crowded commute, work on tasks that often don't bring you fulfillment, return home exhausted, watch some series to turn off your brain, and repeat the cycle. In the midst of all this, there is a constant whisper, a small voice that asks, "Is this it?" That voice is not your enemy. It is, in fact, the first movement of a silent revolution that is about to begin. What you are about to embark on is not a conventional self-help course, nor a magical 7-step formula for instant wealth or happiness. It is an invitation to rediscover the most powerful tool you possess, your own mind, through the lens of philosophy. Philosophy, contrary to what many imagine, is not a pile of abstract concepts left by bearded Greeks in white togas. At its core, it is the love of practical wisdom. It is the art of learning how to live. And what we propose here is something bold, a 7-day immersion where philosophy will cease to be something you study and will become something you practice, something you breathe, something you embody in your daily life. It's not about changing who you are, but about removing the layers of social conditioning, fears, and automatic habits that have distanced you from your own power. At the end of these 7 days, you will not be a different person, but you will be closer to finally being yourself. Let's begin with the first day, and we will do so with a principle that might feel uncomfortable, but is liberating: the power of the now and radical acceptance. Frequently, our minds are divided between guilt for what has passed and anxiety for what is yet to come. We live in a mental battlefield, rehashing old conversations and rehearsing future dialogues. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Think about that. How many nights of sleep have you lost, not because of something happening in that moment, but because of a catastrophic projection of a future that didn't even exist? Philosophy teaches us that the only territory where life truly happens is the present. The past is a memory that exists only in your mind now. The future, an expectation that also exists only now. On the first day, the invitation is to an exercise in presence. Choose a mundane activity: washing the dishes, brushing your teeth, walking to the bus stop, and do it with full attention. Feel the temperature of the water, the texture of the brush, the movement of your feet. When your mind wanders to yesterday or tomorrow, gently, without judgment, bring it back. This is not merely a relaxation technique. It is a profound philosophical act. It is the recognition that you are the master of your inner stage. By focusing on the present, you reclaim the agency you handed over to regrets and worries. Anxiety, after all, is a misuse of imagination. Guilt, a misuse of memory. When you master the art of being where your feet are, you discover that most of the problems that paralyzed you exist only in the dimension of thought, not in concrete reality. This is the first brick of a new mental structure, the realization that you have more control over your life than you imagined, as long as you redirect your focus from what you cannot control to what you can, your attention and your actions in the present moment. On the second day, we delve into a concept that is a game changer: what depends on us and what does not. This is the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, but it echoes across various wisdom traditions. We spend an absurd amount of energy trying to control the uncontrollable. We want to control what others think of us, the weather, traffic, the economy, the decisions of our bosses or partners. It's a losing battle. Philosophy invites us to draw a circle. Inside it, place everything that is within your power: your judgments, your opinions, your impulses, your desires, and your actions. Outside the circle, place everything else. Upon waking on the second day, take inventory. Throughout the day, when you feel irritation or frustration, ask yourself, is this within my circle of control? If someone cuts you off in traffic, the other person's action is outside. Within is how you respond to it, with anger that only consumes you, or with serenity. If a project at work is rejected, your superior's reaction is outside. Within is your effort, your dedication, and your ability to learn from the feedback and move on. This practice is not passivity, it is radical focus. It's conserving your vital energy for what can truly be transformed, yourself. By ceasing to try to move mountains that are beyond your reach, you discover you have ample strength to climb the ones right in front of you. The peace that arises from this distinction is immediate. You stop being a hostage to external circumstances and become an architect of your inner life. The people around you might even notice your new demeanor, for you will cease to be reactive. You will become a calm presence amidst chaos, and this in itself will change the dynamics of all your relationships. We arrive at the third day, and here we will confront one of the greatest thieves of joy: insatiable desire.
We live in a culture that constantly teaches us that we are incomplete, that something is missing, that we will be happy when we buy that thing, when we get that position, when we find that perfect person. It's the trap of when, then. When I have that, then I will be happy. The problem is that as soon as we achieve it, a new when appears on the horizon. It's a horizon that recedes as we advance. Philosophy, especially the Buddhist tradition and a well-understood Epicureanism, alerts us to the difference between needs and artificial desires. On the third day, we will practice contentment. This is not about having no ambition or living in poverty, but about questioning the nature of your desires. Before buying something, before coveting a position, ask, is this natural and necessary? Is it merely necessary? Or is it neither natural nor necessary? Food, shelter, genuine affection are natural needs. The latest model smartphone, validation on social media, a car that exceeds your actual need, these are culturally constructed. The practice of the third day is a fast from desire. Choose one day not to give in to any impulse for unnecessary consumption. Don't buy the gourmet coffee. Don't buy the item online that you didn't even remember you wanted until you saw the ad. In doing this, you are not depriving yourself. You are freeing yourself. You are discovering that the feeling of lack is not a truth, but a habit. When you realize you can be happy with what you already have, the incessant pursuit loses its meaning. You begin to appreciate the wealth already present, your health, your eyes that see, your lungs that breathe, the people who genuinely care. This practice reverses the logic of scarcity and establishes the logic of sufficiency. You become more generous,